IPSTC, but the quality is there at the IPSTC. Sometimes you need to look at home. It's also good to be exposed. So come to Ghana, we will receive you, and because we are coming here, so come to Ghana. So the collaboration is there. We work together, and whatever you need from us, IPSTC is in a position to give you the same. Sometimes we just want to experience other worlds, and that is why we travel.
For me, my contribution or my response will be on the issues in the femicide. This is my personal view, is that there is something that needs to be addressed, especially when it comes to young men. There is a gap. They feel they are being left out, and they feel that most of the responses we have as an institution focusing on young women is that we are empowering a young woman. Then how is she going to live with a young man who is not empowered? So there is a lot of competition between the young men and the young women. They feel that young women have a lot of opportunities as compared to young men. But when you look at, especially in the peace building field, we are not in competition. We are trying to cover the gap. We are trying to bring us to the same level. So the approach to that is engaging young men, have conversations, and for us as an institution, like previously, we have been having trainings for young women. But last year, we decided to bring young men to be part of the training. And the reason is for them to get to understand why are we training these young women. For them to understand that there is a gap that we are trying to fill. So that when they go back, they are going to be the champions of young women inclusion. Because if we don't have young male champions who are going to champion about the issues of inclusion, the issues why we should be able, the young women should be able to lead, the young women should be able to speak before men, because in some communities in Kenya, young women are not allowed to speak in front of a congregation where men are seated. So we are providing those conversations, and I think in Kenya there is a program even coming down from AU about male engage. So it will be a very good way to address some of these issues we are facing in terms of femicide. Engage young men in conversation to understand some of these things that are happening. Issues of mental health again. Because of that, young male feeling they are left out. I think we need to have an honest conversation. For us as young women, we can easily reach out to our friends to have conversations. But for you as young male, you keep on taking in a lot of pressure. You don't want to share with your friends because of the stigma that comes with it. But if we open up, if we have honest conversation, I think some of these issues that we are having of young men attacking young women because they have been left or something, we'll be able to address. Yeah.
Yeah, on finances, I think one of the key things that we need to do is how can we be able to come together? Because there is a saying that if you want to walk fast, walk alone. If you want to go far, walk with people. So let us be able to come together. Let's engage the ministry responsible for youth affairs and other parent ministries. We saw now they can be able to task them to even convene a stakeholders meeting that can be able to write this particular agenda for the development of the white-face agenda in our country. On lobbying and advocacy, as the owner of Africa Youth Network, we will be more than glad if we can be able to share the knowledge that we have with you. And let me know, I'm also around. Let me know if you need some capacity sharing, capacity building. We can actually develop something and work together. I will even come where you are, no problem. Thank you very much.
So I think we'll take the next round of questions.
I just want to add something.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's working. Or should I stand here then? I just want to add something on femicide. 30 seconds. I just want to unpack it. If you look at the main reason why femicide is happening is it's us men it's about toxic masculinity. It's us men who want to stay in control of women's bodies. And we do not understand what consent is. So if us men, we educate our fellow men that if a woman says no, it means no. And us taking her to the house or taking her on a date, buying her 200 shilling chips, that doesn't equal.
200 shillings.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's it's not equal to yeah, because there's someone who wants on social media bought a woman a pizza and she didn't consent. So buying a woman pizza, taking her out doesn't equal it doesn't equal to consent. So we have to understand that we're not in control of their body. And it's everything. When you look at abortion, when you look at anything that concerns women, it's men deciding for the bodies of the women. So we have to understand that it's their body, their choice, and it's them driving the agenda. Thank you.
No, that lady has been quiet throughout until she heard their body, their choice. Okay, so we'll take the next round of questions. The next round of questions. Now for clapping, you will ask one. Yes, you will ask one. So we have one. Who else? And the lady who finally smiled is asking another. So now we just need a third. And then there's one. So we have three. The microphone. So she'll ask one. No, that's it. That's it. She knows herself. Oh, she will ask. She will ask. You see, she's asking.
Ask a question.
I don't have a question, but I'd like to say that I have learned a lot from all that has been said today, and I'm sure that I'll be joining one of the and yeah, it has been
You see, you wouldn't have heard that before. Now it goes to her. Now she knows herself. You take it to her. She knows herself. You want to ask a question? So, yes. So she asked, and then the third. No, she knows herself. Please just raise your hand. You are. That's her. Yes, that's her. It doesn't bite. Just hold it. And she stands. See her stand. Now she's standing. Now she's about to ask her question. Asante. Well, at least we heard from you. Now the third question.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
I must first of all appreciate. I really love the work that is going on and what you guys are doing. I come from Kisumu and I know what dealing with trauma feels like. I know what war feels like, and being in a constant state of insecurity, especially after the elections. Now, I have a question. She has just touched on emasculation. That is when men feel that they're supposed to be superior. I have heard that you people do dialogues, and you go to speak to a group of people and you're really championing for peace. is dialogue and the other things you mentioned the only way to champion it? Because I'm thinking, I just wrote a poem on emasculation. I am thinking, is there a way so that you can, there's so much potential within us. Is there a way you can also tap solutions? You can also find a way of identifying the problems so that you can find the solutions to it. Can you also include these young writers? Because I believe authors are that sensitive needle that identifies problems in society. If you could find a way to also include them and their pieces of work, I believe it will also really propagate and propel, of course, your agendas and objectives. Thank you.
I can promise you right now, the poem you wrote, we will publish it for you. Yes. Send it to us right now, we will publish it. So, what you guys can look out for, and when I mention it publicly, that means I'm committing myself. So let me mention it publicly and commit myself. So, and now he wants to record it. So what's going to happen is that following our engagements for the week, as you might know, we started on Monday, we'll end on Friday. Following our engagements for the week, we'll of course write a report. Those are normally for administrative purposes. We met with students, they spoke well, and we met with this group, we met with that group. We compile that and we put it, that's a report. We want to also write a report on the state of youth participation in leadership and peace building in Kenya. Now, I am sitting in Accra. I don't know about it. I traveled here to come and listen to it. I've heard a lot. I still don't know about it. I'm going to work with the groups, the very groups that you've seen. From tomorrow, that's the work we are going to do. That's why I'm remaining in country. And I'm going to take every perspective undiluted. We are just going to stick to, so I'm announcing it. I don't think I've explained it to my director yet. So she might be hearing it for the first time. So what we have things that we wanted to find out. What we are going to do is to share it to all the organizations we are interacting with, including the University of Nairobi. We are working with your Department of Diplomacy. The Students' Union is also going to give us their perspective. So these are the things we want to find out. To the best of your ability, not so much, 5 pages, 4 pages. Give us from the perspective of the Horn of Africa Youth Network. This is the state of youth participation in leadership and peace building in Kenya. From the perspective of the coalition, this is the state. From the perspective of the University of Nairobi, this is where we stand. From the perspective of the Secretariat at the NYC, this is where we stand. So we get all these perspectives, and all we are going to do at Kaiptc is to study all of them and write an introduction on top. End of business. And this is something, we are young people, you know what we can do over a weekend. We get ourselves some good namatroma. Did I get it right?
Yeah. Yes.
We get ourselves some good namatroma, roll our sleeves, and we have a product. And I can boldly tell you the introductory piece is your poem. I've not read it yet, but that's the poem. And I'm saying it openly so that now my boss knows that it is expected. So if she had another plan for the introductory piece, this is not the plan. You see how we bulldoze them. So it's good. I don't think it's just dialogues. I don't think it's just dialogues. You see, do you know what I studied for my first degree? Right now, all I do is security. But do you know what I studied for my first degree?
No.
English literature.
She's also doing English literature.
So everything I do now, the foundation is literature. I spent 4 years studying Shakespeare. 4 years studying poems, Chinua Achebe, Her Husband Has Gone Mad at the Game, and all of that. That's all I studied. My degree is in English. And I'm here doing security. So, yes, literature is the foundation. Why are we going to have a discussion and we call someone to come and sing? That is art. That is a means of expression. And remember I mentioned that because of him, we'll do a video and the background song and everything is going to be the a cappella you did. So that is the spirit of the young people in Nairobi. The technical work is mundane. How many people are even going to read? I might have forgotten the song, but you will notice that tomorrow morning you will be making your hair or brushing your teeth or doing your naked ablutions, and it will just not be leaving your head. That is how messages are created. Those of you who are Christians here, our Master Jesus taught in parables. That's literature. All the lessons he had, he taught it by stories. And so you have a powerful instrument, let's use it. And on this note, I know I've hijacked the meeting because we need to drive it and get out of here. I am leaving, my madam is leaving, or I'm eventually leaving, she's leaving. And we need to continue the conversation. They are here, the Horn of Africa Youth Network, the IPHRD, the FOC, the Kenyan Coalition on Youth Peace and Security are all here. Whatever solutions even Kaiptc can bring, we are only partnering because it must be owned by those within. We could have sat in Accra, read literature, and written a paper on the state of, but that is not how it is done. And even after we came here, we could have quietly gone back to Accra and written the paper. But we want ownership, local ownership. And so for local ownership and for sustainability, yes, you interact with us. Normally the shiny new thing, the new phases, the ish, interact with us, and I like to interact. But to continue the conversation, talk to them. They are doing wonderful things here. Talk to them. And before we even go back to Accra, I don't even need to say it. We are partners of the coalition. We are partners of the Horn of Africa Youth Network. We are partners of all your initiatives. Now, Kofi Annan Peacekeeping Training Center has a youth program, and it is yours. It is somebody said Kofi Annan is the only organization that does youth peace. No, it is not. Several other organizations do that. However, Kofi Annan Peacekeeping Training Center is the only center of excellence that has a youth program. And how is it a youth program if youth leaders cannot access it? How am I senior program officer for youth? How am I earning my salary every month if young leaders cannot reach me and I'm always busy? That is enough grounds for me to be sacked. So please, we didn't start with a prayer, so I think we can call it a day. Or someone will want to volunteer a prayer.
You have Caroline.
To pray for us.
Yes, to give us a closing remarks.
Who is Caroline?
Caroline is the young woman.
And I hope it's a poem.
It's a closing remarks.
No, we want to hear this. Please, take that. Let's record that. Please come.
So just a minute. Okay, so my name is Carol Ochieng. So this is the poem I wrote in order to address the current femicide that we've been having in Kenya. Friends, I warn you of the death to come, of the monster inbreeding, of the roots decaying, awaiting to fully unleash. Two potent ponds glisten, behold, the honor one tended, the other ignored. In motion speed they bubble, of different energies they matured. The honor, water, and love gave the first pot of flowers. Freedom it enjoyed, nourished it became. With energy it glistened, in time it was a success. A great Pokino in making. In waiting, grew impatient the second part, aggravating the unfairness, waited for the potter, who smiled at the first. For both were the potters. Forgotten became the second pot, in aggression grieved tremendously. The pot the honor blamed, for the criminal, for the aggression. Then I saw, the second engulfed the first, chopped to pieces like chicken wings. Grotesque sight it was, potent pot of fury, the ignored became. We watched the anger brawling, we heard the rumbling. Nothing did we to tame the monster. Augmenting anger grew day by day. Friends, the butchering, they say, is an expression of this anger. Matured, dangerous anger. Dear Potter, educate not one, but both. Empower both, not one. Attention needed by both. Fairness good, not for one. For the fury curbed it can be, monster tame you can. Friends, I remind you of the importance of both, of the beautiful growth to come, of the beauty to be held, of the glistening compliment awaiting to burst forth.
Thank you so much. You're much talented. And I also invite you guys to register to join the Kenya Coalition of Youth Peace and Security so that you can have all your voices in the National Action Plan on Youth Peace and Security. I invite, right now I invite Mr. Yuan to give the vote of thanks.